Hello Internet and welcome back to my shop. Now if you recall, in my last project I had a bit of trouble with some wood from an old church pew that had been reclaimed, and it split on me when I was working with it, and that was more than a bit frustrating after all the work I'd done in sanding and stripping off the finish, but it didn't turn into firewood. I did find a purpose for that wood, and I just thought I'd throw together a quick video showing you that. So over in the corner of my basement we have a spot for my wife's treadmill. And above the treadmill is this awful junky little shelf. I built it as a prototype like 5 years ago, just sort of as a, we wanted some sort of a shelf there, and I threw something together, and what happens is 5 years later we're still using it. At one time we had a video monitor up there, and now my wife uses it for a fan, which is helpful to cool down the runner on the treadmill. So on the other side of this wall is our fruit cellar and the main electrical panel for the house, and more importantly the demarcation point for the cable and the telephone where it enters the house. And we're in the process of switching from DSL to cable internet, and I need a place to put our cable modem and router and a few other little bits of hardware, and there's really no room in the fruit cellar, so I need a place to build a shelf. And so, well, let's tear down this old prototype and build something that's, it's just going to be a basement shelf, but let's make it a little bit nicer. So I took the split piece and I ripped it down to a nice clean 12-inch shelf, and then I had to take some other pieces and I had to glue them up to make another 12-inch shelf, because we need two. And trying to be frugal here with my use of wood. Had another scrap piece and I traced a bucket and I cut some curves out on the bandsaw, and these are going to be uprights at either end, and that'll connect the two shelves together. So I actually have two crosscut sleds. I have this old big one, which I almost never use, because after a while I realized that, most of the wood I cut is small. And I made this small crosscut sled, but it only has a 10-inch capacity, but that's mostly what you need, is the little stuff. So I only need the big sled when I need a big piece cut. I'm just going to put it together without glue because I want to be able to take it apart in the future. I have one 2-inch piece here that I'm going to fit in across the top, make it easier for so it's easier to hang the thing on the wall, because I'm not sure where the stud is, but somewhere across the top. So this may be a humble basement shelf, but I'm still going to take it out to the garage and hit it with a few coats of spray lacquer, and then it'll be time to rip down the old shelf and hang up the new one. One thing I did is I left a little gap by the wall so I could snake an extension cord down the wall. It's kind of rough right now. I might get a nice power bar later, but this gives me the room I need for the cable modem and some other gear. I'm going to get stuck up there. And we still have the fan for the treadmill. So I think that turned out pretty nice, salvaging that cracked lumber from the last project and turning it into a nice shelf here down in my basement. And yeah, I hope you got something out of this. Hope you found it interesting and enjoyable. And as always, thanks for stopping by and spending some time in my shop. And we'll see you next time.